Level Group. Oh, hi everybody at Level Group. My name is Jeff Doder and I'm with Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, along with our Chief Strategy Officer, Gary Connolly. And Larry and I have known each other. We've been talking to each other for a couple of years. I've known each other for a long time. And Larry recently joined our Realtor Association and the MLS. And we're here to talk to you about the benefits of that to you as an agent working in this region. So I'll get into it right now, just basic overview of, because some people don't know. As a matter of fact, before I started working with HGAR, I didn't know what a Realtor Association was and how they worked. But Realtor Associations have territories, and there are two neighboring Realtor Associations today that exist today and have existed for many years. And one is called Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, which is HGAR. That's who Gary and I work with. And the other one is called LIBOR, the Long Island Board of Realtors. All right. Gary, should we pull up the map and just kind of show there we go. This map kind of says it all. And Larry, it sort of sunk in with Larry as well, that those two Realtor Associations combined their two territories. The territories of LIBOR is Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk, and the territory of Hudson Gateway is Manhattan, Bronx, Westchester, Putnam, Rockland, Orange, and Sullivan counties. They combined all of their data and created one MLS, and it's called OneKey MLS. And they did that for a couple of reasons, and in hopes of helping the consumer to be able to go to a one-stop shop for listings and data. Currently, there's 25,000 listings in OneKey MLS. And the other thing was to benefit the agents. And that is because we kind of see the regionality of New York City expanding. We have seen that a lot, especially since COVID, where people that were looking for a second home have decided to go in and get a second home and things like that. And again, we were talking to Larry about this earlier. It's like, we're not promoting that, we're looking for somebody that's a New York City based real estate agent to start trying to do deals in Orange and Putnam County or Westchester even. But we want you to have the information, the data there in the event that your clients and customers might be looking there, have a home there, that you could make a good referral and kind of get an idea of what's going on in those areas. So Gary, how am I doing? Am I
You're doing great.
Okay, going too fast, going too slow. Okay, good. So we did that. So those two Realtor Associations, again, they've been around for a long time. How long has HGAR been around?
107 years.
Okay, a long time. And LIBOR probably equally as long.
Yep.
They used to have separate MLSs. And that's why, again, kind of in summary, with respect to the Realtor Associations and the MLS, they decided to combine their MLSs and create OneKey MLS. So every single listing that LIBOR has and every single listing that HGAR has goes into OneKey MLS. Okay, so now that brings me to you guys at Level Group. I wanted to just let you know that we've been trying to increase our membership by Manhattan-based brokerages, and we have been pretty successful in cracking away at it. Thankfully, Larry was smart enough to join, so we appreciate that. We have over 130 Manhattan-based brokerages that are members now, and that's Manhattan-based only. And what does that mean for you? All right, so I'll explain it again in a nutshell, and then this will be recorded. Larry and I talk all the time. If anybody wants to reach out to me directly, feel free to do so. So Larry joined as the broker of record, the Realtor Association, Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, and he joined the MLS, OneKey MLS, okay? There is only one MLS member per office, and that's your broker of record, all right? If you, as an agent, want to gain access to the data, historical data, the listings, showings, things like that in OneKey MLS, all you have to do is join the association. or the Realtor Association, Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. Once you do that, that gives you access to Larry's MLS account, and you're off to the races. So for those of you that might be doing business in Queens right now, which is definitely expanding area, and or even the Bronx, it would be it would behoove you to actually join, and then again gain access to Larry's MLS account. The cost for that is prorated throughout the year. At the beginning of this year, clearly it was more than it is today, because we're now in May. From May through the end of 2022, the cost is $345 for the rest of the year. And that again gives you access to Matrix, which I don't think I've brought up the word Matrix yet. Matrix is our listing and data system. And all the information in OneKey MLS can be found in Matrix. So Gary's going to take you through a couple of just through Matrix itself, and also show you a little bit about OneKey MLS, which is a public-facing free portal for people to use. So those 25,000 listings that I was telling you about, they are all housed for your clients and customers, you to take a look at on OneKey MLS. It's very simple web address. It's www or URL. I'm bad at these things. It's www.OneKeyMLS.com. And it's spelled out, OneKeyMLS.com. Without having a dialogue here, if I did go too fast, if you want more information on stuff that I didn't cover or that I went through a little bit too quickly, you can let me know. And do we have a question thing, Gary?
Yes, we do. They can put stuff in the chat or the Q&A.
Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. So that's the, you guys are all probably, I'm probably too old for you to use this reference, but that's the Cliff's Notes version of what's going on, and which is the very, very, very summarized version of how it works. And then I'm going to turn it over to Gary to talk to you about Matrix and show you around the site a little bit.
Did you want to go over the stats of that OneKey MLS?
Like oh yeah. Do you want to show that really quickly?
Sure.
This is pretty impressive stuff. We have the total MLS has about 40,000 members right now, and that includes our Manhattan members. We're not including people like at level that have not joined yet. So right now at level, I think there's only Larry and maybe one other that are counted. But at the end of the year in 2021, as you can see on the screen right now, throughout the entire year, it was reported that 220,000 referrals were sent to member offices, that there were 4.4 million total viewer sessions in 2021, that consumers were involved and were on the site, and the emails were delivered back to the consumer. That equated to 1.5 million. And then we have an app, which is being used quite a bit. As you can see, 1.9 million total app sessions. So that's our year end. We break it down by month as well, but these are such impressive numbers for the year end of 2021. We just thought we'd show you the end of 2021, and our numbers are staying pretty solid. We're not losing on any of those. We're not really gaining too much on them, but those numbers are pretty solid.
So just to tap into what Jeff was referring to, so the history of OneKey MLS was actually HGAR's concept that there should be one MLS that covers the entire footprint that we exist in, and that wherever mass transit goes out from New York City, from Manhattan, is where this MLS should be. So that's where that historical thing comes from. And again, the concept being that with our public-facing website, unlike the other public-facing websites out there in the world, our website only premieres the agent. So the listing agent is the only one who will now and forever be the only one listed on any listing that is theirs. So that's certainly a change from other sites that you all are aware of. So again, MLSs are not new. MLSs have been around for approximately 50 years. In terms of being, internet-based, that dates back to about the year 2000, 2001. And, having been born and raised in Manhattan, it kills me, the fact that the greatest city in the world still does not have an MLS is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Only because of the fact that it is so fast, so easy, and it just makes so much more sense. I am well aware of the trials and tribulations that all of you have to go through to be able to do a CMA. You have to go to 5 different websites or what have you to try to scrounge up that data when it should all reside in one database, which is what I'm going to show you. Just give me a moment. So right here, this is Matrix, and Matrix is the name of a product that is provided to us by a company called CoreLogic, and Matrix is our MLS. So all the data that we have all resides in one place. And as you see across the top, there are different functionalities that you can do. So you have information on your own listings and CMAs and saved searches. You have the ability to search all different property types. You can do stats. We have an integrated tax system. We have different mortgage calculators and finance and summary calculations. We have market reports, and I'll go in and I'll show those in a little bit. And then we have an add edit, where it is that you can add and edit listings within the system. As you notice right here on this first page, this is basically your dashboard, where it is you can move things around if you want, however it is that you would like to see it. We have a market watch here. So being that I'm the director of the MLS, I'm looking at it from a global standpoint. So 490 new listings have been entered into the MLS within the past 24 hours. And then these are the different numbers of the things that have occurred, and 320 listings have sold in the past 24 hours. We require our agents to actually put in the sold information within 24 hours of that listing being sold, which means you have access to that data much faster than anybody else. So we have news and alerts. We have hot sheets, which are basically, if you have a certain property type that you're looking for that you want to keep as a search for yourself, you can create a hot sheet and then be able to just go directly to that hot sheet and see what's new that's come on the market. You have a section here on your listings that are incomplete, those that have sold or rented. You have information on, you're able to put listings and data into carts. And then you can just do a quick search. You can do a search by address number. You can do a search by address. If I were to do, so here are, here is a listing of a property in Westchester. This one's coming soon, which means it's going to come on to the market shortly. Here we have some views of what this property has. And here you just have all the information on this property, where it is, how large it is, the cities, the schools, types of amenities, public remarks, agent only remarks, and then who the listing agent is, et cetera. Again, the MLS is only for agents who are going into a system directly. So if I were to do a search and say single family, and if I were to say New York County, Manhattan. The system right here tells me how many listings there are. So there's 67 at the present time. I click on results. If I were to click on one of these, so again, here's a property. If I scroll down, this is being offered by Compass. And if I click on the pictures, I can get a much larger view of the pictures for this property. Let me put in a map of the property, schematic, excuse me. And again, information about the property. One of the other fascinating features that we love, and I was referring to before about how difficult it is for you all to be able to do CMAs. Let me show you how easy it is to do a CMA for this property, let's say. So if I were to go down here at the bottom, so down at the bottom, we have the ability to change criteria, email it, print, CMAs, directions, stats on that property. We can export it. We can do a quick CMA. We can go to showing time, which is basically the showing service that we have built into the MLS. So it's easier for you all to be able to make showings. So if I were to click on CMA, the CMA system says, do you have a contact? If I created this contact within in my list, I can either create a new one, or I can do from the dropdown of people I have. So if I click on, let's say, Peter here, and if I go to pages, here are the different pages that are available for a full CMA. You can take some out if you don't want them, but just for example's sake, we'll leave them all there. We can do a subject property. I need to grab that. I can put a subject property in, and it can, if it was already in the MLS, it would autofill within the MLS. This is basically my cover sheet, and it can show me comparables. I can find more comparables. I can do a search, do results. I can say I want to add these other listings to it. I can add the selected listings. Here now I have all of these that are now being made a part of the CMA. I can show a map. So it shows where those listings are within Manhattan. Adjustments. So if one property had an additional bathroom, then I could add, or additional bedroom I can add or subtract, whatever the case may be. Pricing, it shows you comparable pricing and adjustable comparable pricing. And then click finish. And then if I go ahead and click on view CMA, the system is now calculating all that information that we just threw into it, plus all the different pages that we've just done. Is going to show us the entire CMA, and then we also have the ability to send it via email to anyone. So again, I didn't throw a subject property in, but that property would show up there. Information on that property. But then here we have the summary of comparables, that listing in comparison to the other three that we chose. We can do a side-by-side comparison. Maximum minimums, days on market. Again, these are the different pages that you can choose or not choose to have within that CMA. This CMA is actually 31 pages long. So brief of summary of compared listings, and then we go into the actual information on the properties themselves so people can compare it. But the CMA is what helps you all be able to price your properties, accordingly. And be able to be that source of information to your sellers and or buyers for that much. Again, my guarantee to you have the ability to customize pages within the CMA as well. If your company has its own slicks that it likes to promote about level, then that can go into this CMA as well. Market analysis explanation, importance of pricing, But again, as you saw, all of this came out within 2.2 seconds. which we are, which is why people are on an MLS. And again, here's that map that we were looking at on the screen before. One sec. I can't see myself. So again, within the MLS, you have the ability to search by a single family, co-op, condominium, land listings, which you're all not going to have that many in Manhattan, but we certainly do elsewhere within our geographical area. So as we had pointed out, our spans is from Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, and all of Long Island, and then north and west to Westchester, Putnam, Orange, Rockland, and Sullivan counties of New York. So we're well aware of, even residents in Manhattan who have second homes in any one of these locations. And again, you would have access to that data. We also have multifamily homes, commercial listings, rentals, and the like. Also within the system, again, we have market reports. If I go to one called Fast Stats, and if I were to choose a county, let's say Westchester County, and if I want to view the Westchester County report, so this is the local updated report as of April of 2022. As you'll notice, our median sales price is $862,500 for the county of Westchester. 12 months ago, it was $800,000. And this shows, the inventory, the number of sales, number of new listings within that month, and then information on condos and co-ops, which is, pretty impressive. Give me one sec. So let me go to some of these questions. So do we have a contact at HGAR? Do we have to contact HGAR first to apply and then join MLS? I've tried before and had no success. So Rosemarie, your contact would be Jeff, and Jeff would be able to assist you with that. And basically, once you've joined HGAR, you will be given access to the MLS. And we are running a promotion right now for agents in Manhattan. So Jeff will be your contact, and if you can't find Jeff, Larry can certainly put you in touch with Jeff.
And Rosemarie, can you guys hear me? I'm not
yes.
muted. Okay.
Yes.
Rosemarie, the application was sent around as part of the information about this particular session. I did include a link to that application that Jeff sent me. I think it was for the month of April, which we're now past April. So the prorated membership fee would be reduced starting for the month of May. But it is the same application that you would fill out and submit. And there's an email on there. Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like support@hgar.com or something like that. But that information is also on that application. So it would be filled out and submitted.
And we will send out that May application to make things easier. And Rosemarie is saying that she sees it.
Okay, great.
And then we have a question from Hashim. Metro North train from New York City goes to Dutchess County. That county is not included. Is that an oversight, or are they not included in OneKey? Are there plans to add Dutchess County if it is not already included? So the answer. So great question. So Dutchess County actually does have its own association of realtors and its own MLS. However, I will tell you that I actually have more listings in our MLS than they do, because the people in Dutchess County realize that, we are the bigger bear. So it's not officially our territory, which is why I don't officially have it on the map, but I will tell you that we even have listings outside of the jurisdictions that we have outlined to you. Even though we are not in Brooklyn, we actually have Brooklyn listings. And in same thing with Dutchess. I actually have more listings in our MLS for Dutchess County than their MLS does at this time.
Gary, I have kind of a related question to that,
Sure.
which is, about data, so Hashim is asking about this data that's in Dutchess County. So it's really interesting to hear that that's not on the coverage map, and yet that data exists in there, which is fantastic to know about. So I had a similar question for, say, Manhattan and Brooklyn. Where can we find information about, say, the number of listings that exist in New York County, in Manhattan, on OneKey MLS? And is that data robust enough for a comps CMA sort of report that it's actually truly meaningful data? So, our brokers, we're obviously a Manhattan-based brokerage, and I think our brokers are mostly going to be, focused on activity that exists in New York City. As a company, I can tell you that our activity is, 85% New York City, meaning Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens. Bronx is in there a little bit too, a little bit less Staten Island, and then sort of, beyond. So I'm curious to know about that data in sort of our core territory, and whether it's meaningful enough for data. The data is good enough to get great comps.
So great question, Larry. And to be, completely truthful and transparent, we are still building our data. We're building it, broker by broker, until we get to that critical mass. Am I at that critical mass this moment? I'll be honest, I'll say no, but we're getting there. And if ever we were to get one of the, top 3 brokers to finally fall and join, then it's game over.
Why have they not? Do you know why they've resisted?
Yes, it is basically due to the fact that they have control.
Right.
And in the world of an MLS, the MLS becomes the one truth, one source of truth.
Yeah.
And that's why when you guys see your quarterly reports from the 3 different companies, or 4 different companies, or 5 different companies, they're all different. They all say they're number one, because there's no one to doubt it, because there's no one to say that that's not true. But if you had one database, that just puts that all to shame. The other fear, which is really not, I think, a good enough fear to have. They fear Westchester agents coming into Manhattan and selling their listings. That's not going to happen as much as New York City is going to go to Westchester to sell their listings.
Yeah.
Now, I've been with the association and the MLS now for 22 years. So we have grown, threefold since I've been here. And throughout all of our different iterations of mergers and acquisitions that we've done, literally, we're talking a handful of people ever go into that new territory that we've taken over, besides the people who are already in that space. So, the fear that, Westchester are going to come and take listings is ridiculous. So that's not going to be the case. And, and real estate is local, and any agent worth their salt knows the fact that, even within Westchester, people in Rye cannot sell Bedford or vice versa, because they don't know the area. They don't know the schools. They don't know all the information, and same thing with Manhattan. Upper East Side is vastly different than the Upper West Side.
I was going to say the 4 comps you picked, I'm like, those aren't really comps, Gary. Because they were, and I know you know that.
I was just throwing.
Yeah, so
yeah,
of course. So, okay, so the data that exists right now, so in Manhattan, there was 67 listings. I mean, is that what exists in Manhattan, or that was just
that was 67 listings of single family?
Okay, got it. Single family. Okay, got
it. Versus, I didn't look at condo. I didn't look at co-op.
Sure. I wasn't sure what I wasn't sure what I was looking at there. So I get it. So so it depends on the category. It depends on, you have to get kind of granular and then make a judgment call about, the comp set that you would choose, and whether or not it's something that is relevant for you and your client or not. But I think that CMA tool still could be useful, even with less data points. And I think it's exceptionally useful if you're trying to learn about anything in the true territories that are actively covered by by OneKey. So
like right now, for co-ops, we have 993.
pretty good. I mean,
And again, they keep growing. And 999 condos, so 1,000 condominiums.
is that literally 999 or is that just the max?
No, that's 5,000 is my max.
Okay.
So it literally is.
Got it. That's funny. Somebody put up a listing, please.
You need another
Okay.
digit, exactly.
So
A couple of things.
Okay.
Go, Gary. Go. You go.
No problem. So what we also wanted to show was our OneKeyMLS.com, which was the address that Jeff had mentioned. And again, this truly is a public-facing website. It is for the general public. You have sections for buy, rent, commercial, find a realtor, fair housing, and then also the general public has the ability to create an account so that they can put in their search criteria of listings that they're looking for. And then the listing agent will actually get an email for a listing that they are the listing agent for. It is a map-based system, so you can scroll out or scroll in, and you'll see the different listings that are currently on our MLS at this time. So and again, it covers our entire geographical area. Bring up this listing. 1 second.
How many realtors are there in Manhattan? Like on this system right now?
The total number on our system is approaching about 500 or so.
500. Okay. So it's interesting because I don't know. I'm not sure what the total number of agents in New York City is, but
I do.
What's the number?
About 15,000.
So 15,000. So 15,000 agents. I was gonna say between 12 and 15. So 15,000 agents in Manhattan, and only 500 of them are on this site. It's kind of a good way to stand out, at least in the current state, just because you can really, if somebody's doing one of these find a realtor thing and your territory is actually Manhattan, seems like you're gonna have a lot of better chance standing out of 500 than out of 15,000. So
I think that's a great point, Larry. And then also, I keep thinking about if I were out pitching an exclusive, and I'd say to people, not only is it going to go on the regular advertising channels that we all know about, it's also going to be on OneKey MLS. And then you throw out a couple of those stats, and that's a helpful thing as well. Gary, for that last person's question, maybe you go to that map section up in the Hudson Valley or wherever it is, and just show where some of the spillover is, or do you want to go that direction?
Certainly. So you're talking about in Westchester?
No, he was talking about up that last question.
My apologies. 1 second.
The person that talked about,
he was asking about Dutchess County, right?
Dutchess County, right.
Yeah. Yep.
So give me 1 second.
Because there is spillover. It's not that you can't list something outside of the territory. You can do it. And like Gary said, people that are, they'll show up, they'll join HGAR because they're close to the border and they want their listing to be on, it's on OneKey MLS.
So I have 322 single family homes that are active in Dutchess County at this time. And their inventory is obviously much smaller than my county of Westchester.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, in terms of, here are the different counties that we have: Bronx, Dutchess, Orange, Putnam, Rockland, Ulster, Westchester, Greene is north of us, Delaware is north of us, Columbia is north of us, New York, Manhattan, and then out of area New York, So anything else, if you happen to have a listing that you want to have more exposure, we have that. We are also, for those agents who are dual licensed in Connecticut, we have Connecticut listings within our system. Same with New Jersey and Pennsylvania. We have then Nassau, Queens, and Suffolk counties, Brooklyn, and Staten Island.
That's great.
Great.
I wanted to go back to.
Yeah, we had a few other questions there.
Yes. So Stephen asks, has LIBOR gotten rid of Stratus? And the answer is no, they have not. However, their data does pull into Matrix, which is the system I've been showing you, every 15 minutes. Next question is.
And vice versa.
And yes, I'm well aware of Revny's RLS, but yes, and you're correct. There are the 5 different platforms that sort of feed the data into RLS, but RLS is not an MLS. It doesn't have a front end facing part of it. It's just a back end, and then just spits the data out to everyone else. And those 5 companies that are out there, they don't talk to each other, in the sense that everyone has different data, and some people have required fields and others don't, which makes all the data very inconsistent. So having been doing every different trials and tribulations with this data, the data in Manhattan is the pits, and when it doesn't need to be. You know, they're one of those 5 systems doesn't require an expiration date. Well, you know, that's crazy. So
Which
your
one
data,
is that?
luckily I don't recall.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just it's silly.
Yeah. I just came across a data point that was between the system we use, which is Perchwell, and OLR in terms of the way they track outdoor information. And one of our agents was particularly frustrated with some of the categories of searching for outdoor information. And I realized that part of the problem was that our system didn't have a granular enough kind of search functionality for that kind of outdoor information. So it was producing a lot of, you know, like data they didn't need to be looking at, a lot of extra results when it could have gotten more granular if it was just done on one of the other platforms. So yeah, the RLS has got its own challenges.
It does.
Sure.
But you brought up a good something that I did want to mention. Within OneKey MLS, on that public-facing website, if you click on a property, not only do we give the information on the property itself, that which is being sold, but as you scroll down, it'll give you information on the building. And so we go through different databases to populate this information. It's all known addresses for this property of 38 Park Place, used to be 23 to 41 Berkeley, 95 to 105 Church Street. Gives you the neighborhoods, information, you know, the concierge type, doorman type, gives you the lot info on that property. Units, these are the units that have, you know, the types of units, the sale date, the sales amount, where it is that information has become available. We have grabbed it.
What is that little information icon linking to there? Is that the ACRIS? Will that link to the ACRIS record?
So this is
next to each data point, that little eye there. Yeah.
So for properties located in the 5 boroughs, building data and tax information is drawn from ACRIS records. And
no, the little eye, is that a link right there? Yeah. Is that a link? Okay. It pulls up the actual unit data. Okay. Got it. Interesting.
So that's something that we have done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's helpful. But one question I had is about the copyright of the reports and data. An agent who runs a market report, say, and then it spits out of OneKey, are they able to use that for their own self-promotion?
Absolutely.
And there's no copyright problems with the way, you know,
as long, you know, I mean, generally anything that comes out of the system, prints out, information from OneKey MLS.
Okay, so as long as you run it with the taglines, the agent can sort of use it as their,
Absolutely.
they could brand their own market report and,
Absolutely.
something like that.
Yep.
Okay, that's
Yep.
helpful. Can you talk a little bit about if there are differences between, joining OneKey and the differences between HGAR and LIBOR in terms of,
Yep.
the way in which OneKey membership sort of gives you different levels of access to those two systems?
So
how that works?
Yep. So let's reverse that. You need to belong to an association of realtors in order to be able to have access to OneKey MLS.
Okay.
So OneKey MLS is a realtor-owned MLS, which means that a person must be a realtor in order to have access to that system. Realtor organizations, again, have been around for over 100 years. We are obviously, we are the local Association of Realtors and the Association of Realtors of Record for Manhattan, Bronx, Westchester, Putnam, Orange, and Rockland counties of New York. HGAR, again, with its 14,000 members, are all realtors, and a realtor is held to a higher standard. We are bound by a code of ethics, which is what sets us apart from a real estate salesperson or a real estate associate broker or broker, because of the fact that if you belong to an association of realtors, then you're, again, bound by this code of ethics. Each association is required by the National Association of Realtors to do certain things within, every year. So they're called core standards. So one of our core standards is that we must have a charitable arm. So we actually have a foundation where it is that we raise money for that. Our association has a school of real estate where it is that people can come and do their licensing classes with us. They can take their continuing education with us. Mm-hmm. And as a member of HGAR, you're entitled to member benefits through the association and through the National Association of Realtors, as well as preferred pricing for classes that we offer and different events that we hold throughout the year. The question, and Rosemary just asked the question, do we need to be a member of NAR as well, or just HGAR, or just HGAR? When you join HGAR, you're actually joining not only HGAR, but the New York State Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors. So that price that Jeff was mentioning of the $345, I think, is inclusive of all three. And to your, can you pick and choose? The answer is no. NAR doesn't like that. So NAR requires that we collect the monies for them, as well as for ourselves. But that $345 is divided between the three entities. Let's see what other question.
Hashim had asked a question about 130 Manhattan firms and brokerages are part of OneKey. If only 500 agents are part of OneKey, is it safe to say the big brokerage firms have not adopted OneKey yet? And do you have a projection of the time when they would join? That kind of feeds to the listing question, right? Is that they're all sort of members of REBNY and are literally hesitant to join just because they're now controlling the listing universe. It'll be interesting to see. You mentioned this public facing thing, Gary. OneKey is public facing. I'm sure you're aware that REBNY is coming out with their City Snap product this summer. It's supposed to be launched in a month. They've been promoting it pretty heavily. It's yet to be seen whether or not the public takes to that or not. But that will be public facing REBNY RLS listings for the first time in REBNY's history. Mm-hmm. Which,
however,
is a good thing, I guess. But
I can almost pretty much guarantee that will never ever continue to be free. And I think that they're
CoStar, CoStar's ownership. Yep, exactly.
Correct. And so, historically speaking, we are aware that the entity has put a whole bunch of money into that.
Yeah.
and they have to be able to get that back.
Yeah.
So trust me, that will be on the backs of agents, which would never ever happen with OneKey or OneKeyMLS.com.
Yeah.
And again, we don't sell, you can't become a premier agent or anything like that on OneKey MLS. The only person we'll ever show on those listings are the listing agent themselves.
Can you speak briefly to the idea of agent account versus company account? We've announced to the whole company, to Level Group agents, hey, Level Group has joined OneKey. So now Level Group is a member of Level Group is a member of OneKey by virtue of the fact that I am the broker of Level Group, broker of record. And so my membership in the organization means that the organization is a member and allows membership for agents.
Correct.
I think certain agents are thinking that like now that gives them some license. And my explanation was, you get a little street cred in the sense that you could approach people and say, yeah, our company's a member of OneKey, and that may work with certain people to get access to listings or that kind of a thing. But it's not an automatic sort of entree, co-brokerage the same way it is if you, agent member yourself was a member of the association. So can you just talk to that briefly?
Certainly. So again, an agent can't be a member of HGAR until their broker is. So as a designated realtor, now your agents under you have the ability to join. So, as you're aware, that's one of the things, the deals we have struck with NAR. So for the current time, every agent is not required to become a member of HGAR. And the carrot, as it were, that we're dangling is the fact that you'll have free access to OneKey MLS for the agents. And just again, in the spirit of full transparency, if you had an agent of yours who also wanted to become an agent at ABC Realty in White Plains, New York, their annual fee for OneKey with that brokerage would be $110 a year. That's it. So we're not talking big monies here at all. Our annual dues for the association, which association, state and national, is $498. And then plus this, $110 for the MLS. But right now for Manhattan, and we understand the fact that we do not have all of the data for Manhattan, we are not charging agents in Manhattan for OneKey. They just need to belong to HGAR. And if in time, at that point where it is that I finally do have those lion's share of data, then it's a horse of a different color. But again, we're still talking nominal amounts of money for an entire year. But again, the broker has to be the member first, and then those agents who want to join have the ability to join. And as I said before, as a member, you are entitled to the different member perks that we have, as well as discounted educational pricing that we have for continuing it.
Great, thank you.
Yep. I'm reading something from Stephen. So the question is, so right now, as I stated, HGAR does have we have fostered a deal with NAR that only those agents within an office who want to join can join. We are not mandating that every single member joins, or every single agent joins. And then Rosia asks, if an agent is not a member, how does the agent's listings get syndicated to OneKey?
We have a syndication, I think, that's in place that all of our listings are now being sent to OneKey. So all of Level Group's listings are appearing on OneKey now through a syndication effort. The issue for individual agents is that their contact information does not appear on those listings unless and until they are a member of OneKey. So when they then join OneKey and HGAR, then their contact information will be tracked to those listings, and the remainder of the listings at Level Group are tracked with sort of a generalized information. Is that the right answer?
100%.
Okay, so.
And those and leads on non-member listings will be funneled to a point person in the office, and then sent out to those particular agents. Correct, Larry? I can't remember who we chose.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we are tracking, those incoming leads. We have a dedicated email address, and we're trying to distribute. But I will say that to the extent that somebody has a lot of listings, then we may sort of nudge them to join, because if they're getting a lot of inquiries, then they're going to want to be able to respond to those quickly, and we may not be able to get them that lead information as quickly as they would like. So we'll just kind of work that out as we go.
Good.
Yep.
I will send you the May application, and I'll also just keep you, the first of every month, send you each particular month's application as our pro rata, rate.
We missed here about the home buyer find OneKey before they contact with a real estate salesperson. Do they advertise or have agreements with search engine to draw in web traffic? We saw the stats. However they're finding it because there's a lot of views. And when you have a great app, people also get onto that app, and then they search. But what do you guys what would you say to that question?
So again, keep in mind, it's hard to believe, but OneKey is only 2 years old. So having those stats, as a 2-year-old entity is not bad. And OneKey is forever putting money into it via putting money into advertising on different portals and on different sites to make people aware of the site. And the efforts thus far are working, as the numbers are certainly dictating. But yes, we are continually working on advertising and getting that name out. Absolutely. And even at a national level, I'm kind of amazed that people know who we are. And we are about the 5th largest multiple listing service in the country, which is no small potatoes. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious what happens when when you type in New York MLS. I just did a Google search. OneKey MLS is the 4th organic search result. So that's pretty good. You're on the home page above the fold, searching New York MLS. So, the way to really answer those questions is to go do some searches yourself. Pretend you're a consumer. This is what I tell agents all the time with their listings. Is to pretend you are your ideal customer, and make sure that those searches that you would do, that you can then find that listing that you're searching for, the search terms that you would want to use, the right parameters digitally, for digital search of bedroom count and pricing and all that stuff, and really make sure that you're able to be found. So that's actually a really fantastic result for OneKey MLS to be the 4th organic search result for New York MLS, because people know that from all over. So that's great. And it's not even New York City MLS. Well, let's see, what does it say? New York City MLS, which it is not one. Still on the first page, so not bad. All right. Well, we are at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I think we should wrap it up. Thank you, Gary and Jeff, for hosting this for us today. Everyone, thank you for joining. And if anybody has any questions, we're here to answer those questions. A lot of that information was distributed in the emails that I've sent out over the last couple of days, with links to the application and information about OneKey. And I can put you in touch with Jeff if you have detailed questions that I can't answer. And yeah, we'd like to see more people join up.
Absolutely. And as soon as Zoom gives me this recording, I will get it over to Jeff, who will send it over to you.
Yeah, we've had a few people that told me that they couldn't attend today and asked
Yep.
if it's been recorded. So I'll share that with everybody as well.
Awesome.
So
Well, thank you very much, Larry.
Thank you.
We
Thank you
appreciate
for
your time.
Thanks for
Thanks,
putting this together.
guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
all right, appreciate it. Thank you.